This is Cassel from Creation Cassel. In this video, we'll look at how we can create clusters using the Cluster Maker script in PaintShop Pro. First, you have to start your script with an empty workspace. And then you start the script either from the script toolbar or from File, Script, and then Run, and you'll have to navigate to the correct script. But I'll start here with the Cluster Maker. It will start by creating a 3600 by 3600 pixel image and then prompt me to open one element from the folder where I would like to use the elements. Since the script cannot determine whether an element will look good in a cluster or not, it can take just about everything in that particular folder, including elements that are just not appropriate, and also it can layer some elements in a way that will not look good. So what I did is I created a particular folder inside my element folder where I placed a copy of all the elements that I thought would be interesting to add. Any other elements I just removed. So I'm using here a kit from NBK Design, and I included various elements from that kit in a cluster folder. Now, as prompted, I'm going to open one element. It does not matter which element you are using. The idea is that the script will be able to grab the folder where this element is and will pick all the other elements in that folder. Then I have to reactivate my initial image that was created by the script, and I run the script again. At this point, the script will open and close every single image in that folder to measure them and determine if they are long elements, medium-sized elements, or small elements, so the layering can make a bit more sense. The more elements you have in that folder, the longer it will take for this part of the script. Now that all the elements have been looked at, you can get the option of 5 different types of clusters. You can have cluster mostly in the center or in a corner for the top right, top left, or bottom left. So let's do top right. And you can determine how heavy you want your cluster to be. It is possible that you will have extra elements that you will want to remove, so you might want to choose a heavier or more dense version of the cluster so you can remove them, but that's up to you. So I'll just go with an average. So the script will start with long elements. And since this particular kit had few long elements, some of them will be duplicate. But it's okay, I can remove them later. At this point, I can create another cluster if I don't like this one, or if I'm not sure if I want to keep it. I can create many clusters as long as the memory of your computer will allow. So I'll create another one. It will also create one in the same position. Depending on the elements available, it might make them different or use different combination of elements. And let's stop here. So we're done for this. So now I have two clusters. Well, they're not perfect, far from it, but I have a starting point for this. So at this point, I will decide which pieces I will keep, which ones I won't. For example, I have this element, which is kind of a drawing, and I have various copies of it on top of the ruler. So obviously the doodle will not be kept because I don't want the doodles on top of a ruler. And maybe I don't want to have two copies, so I will delete this one. And maybe I'll remove one of the rulers. So maybe I keep those two rulers and this doodle. And after that, I can rearrange elements the way I prefer and making it also logical. So these stars, I don't want to have them overlap my rulers, so I'll move them in a way that one can be on top and the other one could be on the paper. Maybe this one is too many, I'll remove. The little screw, well, it's not really little, so maybe I will size it down. I can leave it beside, or maybe I'll put it on the ruler. Why not? And I'll do the same thing for this one. And the bow, well, that could look good there or somewhere else. This is a washi tape. It would not look logical to have it overlap my ruler. So maybe I will place it somewhere underneath, so I can change the layering and place it under the ruler. That would look more logical. And this little element, let's put it beside the ruler. These stars, maybe I can place them on the ruler. And this one, why not here? And then what I can do, if I'm kind of happy with this, more or less, maybe I'll just move this one on the side, resize it. It looks a little bit big to me. Now I can open another element that maybe I would like and that was not used. Some elements will not be used because the script won't know how to use them, like big strings and ribbons. So this one looks kind of large. I'll copy and place it. And can I put it on top? It looks a bit, I'll scale it. Looks a little big, but it might look okay if I rotate it a bit. I might scale it down. and I could place it under the ruler. Maybe under here. That could be okay. Now let's look at other elements that were not used. I have this flower, and this is big enough to be a really nice element to place in the corner. And yeah, of course, I'll have to put it on top. Definitely won't look good underneath. And from there, I can move other elements to place them differently. Or maybe I'll remove this one now that I have a nice flower. And I have this little spray of elements. I think it's this one. Nope. This. So this, I might move down here and under my flowers. Okay, another element that I found, I did not put it in my actual folder of clusters, but this particular kit has some interesting paint spatters. So the paint spatters obviously should be going underneath most of my elements. So let's see, I'll open this one. I can copy, close, and I will go below most of my elements, and I'll place it underneath. And I can reduce the opacity. So this is the way to kind of start a cluster with the cluster maker. The way it will look will really depend on your like, on the elements of the kit, and how you will eventually modify the arrangement. And once you are happy with a cluster, it's time to add details, shadows, or other elements that were not used, and you can add them to make your cluster stand out. So let's see what we can do. Now I have shadowed all the elements. In addition to having done some more tweaking, I changed the layering of that bow. I decided to put it on top of the ruler, and I removed some of the extra stars. You are the designer, so you are the one who will be creating the end result for your cluster. And when you're happy, you simply merge all the layers and save it as a PNG. Then you can use this cluster for your next project. If you don't want to have a background with a paint splatter, you can remove it and just use the rest as your cluster. It's up to you. You can always save your project in a PSP image format so you can tweak it later if you change your mind. So as you can see, it's fairly easy to create a cluster using the Cluster Maker script. It's going to be a great starting point, and from there use your creativity to get a nice result that you will like. Enjoy!